Good evening, folks. Welcome back to UndercoverET. And as promised, I wanted to go over a short video regarding the King. Today is a big day for King Charles. He is visiting the Vatican today. I'll let you know why that's significant after the first video. And then we're going to get into Three-Eye Atlas, because apparently the tail's gone from a frontal to a behindy, a backy tail, right? A normal tail. We're going to look at the evidence and we're going to try and figure out what's going on with Three-Eye Atlas. Thing to note, guys, the astronomers, even Avi Loeb, is still not 100% it's a comet. Obviously, he's leaning towards more of it's a natural object, but I will let you know why I think we should still be watching it, guys. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. We do need your support. Support the public's evidence. Support general awareness of UAP, UFO, NHI. Support disclosure. Let's go. Okay, as I said, we're going to start off with King Charles. Let's listen to what the news report's got to say, and then I'm going to give you my insights.
Just want to bring you some breaking news regarding the King and the Pope. King Charles will become the first British monarch to pray publicly with the Pope since the Reformation 500 years ago. It's during a state visit to the Holy See that's taking place next week. And we're hearing that the King and Queen will meet the new pontiff, Leo, at the Apostolic Palace during their trip to the Vatican on Thursday. And like I say, this highly significant moment, you have to cast your mind back, if you can, to 1534, King Henry VIII declaring himself the head of the Church of England, breaking from the papal authority of the Roman Catholic Church. And thus we get that 500-year gap since the last time that a British monarch prayed publicly with a pope.
500 years. It's been 500 years, guys. And, you know, with all the speculation over what's going on with the royal family at the moment, some would say he's just doing this as a publicity stunt to try and get people on the royal side again, okay? With everything going on with Prince Andrew, which, by the way, the British public are completely disgusted. We see right through it, okay? And also, I'm just going to touch on this, and the royals probably aren't going to like this one bit, but for some reason, okay, the press at the moment are saying, well, they've got to be careful what they say to Andrew because Andrew could spill a lot of dirt on the royals. If the media know that there's a lot of dirt on the royals to be spilt, why are they showing support for the royals? I don't get it, right? So they're saying that basically, if King Charles and his family decide to treat or push Andrew over the edge with this Epstein thing, then they put themselves at risk because of what Andrew knows about them. Guys, we shouldn't accept corruption on any level, period. You know? And that's exactly why UFO disclosure is such a pain in the ass, because people keep secrets, okay? So I'm not really supportive of any of it. I don't know how people can be so blatantly dumbfounded when these things are said, and it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe they should just banish Andrew then and take away his titles and let it be, that'll be enough. No, it's not going to be enough, guys. It's not going to be enough. Why push something under the carpet just to keep a secret? You know, the world deserves better. The people deserve better. The British public are slowly starting to wake up to this. Why do I bring it up as a UFO channel? Well, the Vatican are fully in the know regarding UFO, UAP, NHI. They turned up at Dr. Shipe's door, as you can see. He's been recording these things for 8 years. They turned up asking about his research, asking about what he's found, what he knows. And I honestly believe that they just went there to find out what he knows in case they know he knows too much, you know, because these guys, they've got vaults, they know a lot of history. They've got a lot of research hidden, from the public that they all know about, okay? So why is this significant? 500 years, the King's now turned up to pray with the Pope. It's happening today. What does it mark? I don't know. I mean, at the moment, he just gains another title and he's thanked by the new Pope and he's invited as a friend of the Pope, okay? But is there more to this than just publicity? It's quite a big number, 500 years. And who knows, maybe something happens every 500 years where he needs to make contact, or the leader of Commonwealth or whatever needs to make contact with someone, or who knows, guys. This is all speculation. I'm just connecting dots. But the Vatican know about UAP. The royals have inquired about UAP before, but they are also fighting against the military to tell them stuff. And if the military don't tell them anything, then guess what? They don't know, guys, unless they go to places like the the Vatican and find out for themselves. Just putting it out there, guys. Just putting it out there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on all of it. And yeah, we're not happy with the royals in this country right now. Let's just say that. Okay, we are on to X and Skywatch Signal. Mate, you're always doing a fabulous job with this. And this is big news. So let's have a read of this article that you've written out here. International Asteroid Warning Network just targeted 3I Atlas. It finally happened, guys. The International Asteroid Warning Network, the UN-endorsed planetary defence group, has initiated a global monitoring campaign for the interstellar visitor 3I Atlas. And guys, if they were sure that this was a comet, they wouldn't then be putting this on their on their radar and saying a potential threat to the planet. This marks the first time in history an interstellar object has been treated as a planetary defence target. First time in history. There's a lot of coincidences going on, okay? And for anyone that's been listening to the mainstream about this this object, of course they're now saying, look, it's starting to look more like a comet. We don't know yet. Until they say, we know 100% it's a comet, I am not accepting any other speculation other than we don't know. And at the moment, it's not even visible, okay? It's not quite behind the sun, but it's getting there. And it's not really visible from the planet. Do they have other images? Yes, so they do. NASA and other space agencies do have the equipment to capture these images. So I'm going to show you one in a moment. But thank you very much, Skywatch Signal. We're going to get onto another post from him as well. But before we do, Astronomy Vibes posted this one. If this is 3I Atlas, then we are witnessing something extraordinary. Credit to Dobsonian Power. Mate, Dobsonian Power, I love that guy. Please give him some support. Super chat. We love it. Not only that, you're honest with your work. You're just showing the public what's there. You're not trying to hide anything. You're not trying to recreate anything. We love it, man. So keep up the good work. And this image right here is cracking. That's a cracking image right there. Do we know what kind of shape it is from this? No. This has been taken from a long, long way away, guys. Does it look anomalous? Hell yeah, it looks awesome. This is something I would expect to see zipping through the sky at stupid speeds, you know, captured from our cameras here on the ground. But this is a long way away. This object is much bigger, moving much faster. I'm assuming the glistening here is gases. But honestly, that could be like a cone shape. It could be like a rectangle. Could be any kind of shape. We just don't know really what that thing is. And I would have thought by now, if it was a comet, we'd know 100% for sure. It's definitely strange that the tail started on the front and it's only now visible, potentially visible from behind. Really, really strange. It hasn't broken up yet. The composition was strange to begin with. The speed, the trajectory is really, for me, the trajectory is everything. And the fact it hasn't broken up yet. They're the two things that make me think, what are they hiding? Again, what's with the big secret, guys? And that secret word keeps coming up. So yeah, awesome stuff. Again, looks like next to nothing there, doesn't it? What does that remind you of, guys? Just reminds you of a fast UAP with plasma around it, doesn't it? But again, this is way too out there, guys. Way too far out there. Thank you, Astronomy Vibes. Let's keep up the good work. And of course, if you're on X, give them a follow along with Skywatch Signal. It's important that we do keep up to date. And I always try and follow people that are sharing the credible information, guys. So, Skywatch Signal yet again. Avi Loeb just claimed that 3I Atlas anti-tail turned into a tail, okay? So this is what I was on about. But take a closer look. He's using old data and the morphology hasn't changed. The so-called tail flip he describes isn't the real-time evolution. It's a reframing of the same August/September data repackaged as a new event. Why would that happen? So why push the narrative now, just before perihelion, when 3I Atlas currently is in solar conjunction and can't be verified? If this were a true shift in anti-tail to tail, the intensity gradient, polarization pattern, and axis ratio would have changed, but they haven't, or they didn't. So what did? I don't know if Avi's being pressured, misled, or just playing politics with timing, but this isn't consistent with raw observations. Sometimes what looks like science is just optics, and we can't always believe what we are seeing. Avi, I would love to hear your explanation for this recent post about the tail.
What's the latest, sir? Tell us what's going on.
Well, the International Asteroid Warning System organization decided to monitor 3I Atlas between November 27th and January 27th with a high cadence, coordinating observations throughout the globe. And that is a very positive development because I recommended it. This is an organization that is associated with the United Nations, and I wrote a white paper that I submitted to the United Nations a couple of weeks ago, saying that we should examine interstellar objects that could be a potential threat to Earth. And it would be good to get as much data as possible to check whether the object maneuvers in any suspicious way or perhaps releases mini probes that may arrive at planets like the Earth. And so I'm very glad that data will be collected so we can figure out the nature of this object. In addition, we have additional data that was reported just over the month of September. It was imaged. The object was imaged, and we could see that the previous anti-tail, that was a jet of glow that was pointed towards the sun, 10 times longer than it is wide, first identified clearly by the Hubble Space Telescope on July 21st. It was pointing in the opposite direction to cometary tails that are pushed away from the sun, usually by the radiation pressure and the wind from the sun. This one was a jet pointed towards the sun. It wasn't clear what its nature is, and it appeared during July and August. And then in September, we started seeing, based on new data, the tail, the anti-tail, the jet towards the sun, changing direction away from the sun. So the question is why? And of course, one possibility is that the sun-facing side is releasing ices that evaporate, so they never get to live long enough, those fragments of ice, in order to be pushed behind the object the way that we find in comets. But somehow, as the object got closer to the sun, the nature of the outflow coming off it changed. And that would be a natural origin for that. But there is also a possibility, if you imagine the gases coming out of 3I Atlas having a technological origin, perhaps the object is preparing to do some kind of a maneuver and changes the outflow. I mean, at the moment, obviously, it would be most natural to assume that it's a comet of natural origin, but we should keep our eyes and check what it does. And just before that image was released, or several images were released over the month of September, there was an image from August showing clearly an anti-tail that is pointed towards the sun. So this happened recently. And we're still waiting for an image from the highest resolution image that we can get from the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that observed the object when it was closest to Mars. It was within 30 million kilometers from Mars on October 2nd, 2025. And the claim is because of the government shutdown, NASA is unable to release those images, which I find surprising because, the principal investigator of that camera, is a professor at the University of Arizona. There should have been a release of the data to the scientific community, irrespective of whether the communications office of NASA is active or not. This is a matter of science, not of public relations.
I'll show you the images, guys. Look, I suspect that what Avi is looking at is old data because the new data isn't exactly flowing out to the public right now. What Skywatch Signal is saying here is that he's showing overlapped imagery from July, August and September and trying to say this is what's happening now. And this is the conclusion he's come to. It's just not quite adding up. It's just not quite adding up. Why would Avi do this? I don't know. He's still not saying it's a comet. He's just saying it's starting to look more like a comet now. And maybe it is, guys. Maybe it is. But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to really have clear images of this thing until Christmas time. Literally Christmas Day, I think, is the day we're going to find out exactly what this thing looks like. We've got to let it pass behind the sun. The imagery, the data has been sketchy at best, and to be honest with you, the images that we should have been seen by now by the public have still been hidden. The word secrecy comes to mind, as it does with everything regarding the UAP topic. It's like everyone wants to know. No one's got any credible information, and the ones that do, or the ones that seemingly do, are always pushed to the top, right? And then it stops. Boom. You're going to see over recent interviews over the UFO community from people like Jeremy Corbell, where they're starting to feel like UFO disclosure is dead in the water. You're hearing that quite a lot, right? Where do we go from here? UFO disclosure's dead. Congress isn't playing ball. All this stuff. And you know what? We do need public disclosure. We really do. We need people to wake up, do their own research, post credible evidence where we can, be skeptical where we can, and put ourselves right where we need to. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave this video, guys. I want us to record the skies, but I do want us to not just take the words from what people are saying as gospel. We need to actually find out properly. If there are red flags in any situation, we should then stop and go, hang on a minute, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Can we trust what's being said if they're hiding this? It goes back to what I was saying, guys, regarding King Charles and the Vatican. He could be going there just to pray, and it could be a publicity stunt, yeah? And it could just so happens that it's, you know, been 500 years since the last king decided to do that. Could all be coincidence during this time where we've got this massive rock coming towards the sun, or going behind the sun, a trajectory that is very, very strange and kept secret. I don't understand it, guys, but clearly there is something out there that people don't want us to know about, and it is people like myself, Robert a Custodian File, and others that are trying to uncover the mystery. So please like and subscribe as always. We do need your support. And folks, put in the comments if you'd like me to look at any footage, any out there footage that's been out there for a while that I haven't analysed in the past. If you'd like me to look at anything specific, put it in the comments. I'll find the link and I'll look at it for you guys. Maybe some evidence needs a good debunk. Maybe some of it does need to be clarified. So anything like that, guys, let me know in the comments. And with that said, thank you so much for your time. Take care, all the best, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.